No, I just think
today are so cool. If only they thought the same about me. Hey, George Workala, Bill Gautreaux, you two need to talk after the service. Or do you know each other? Okay. Hypothetical situation. I come to you and ask you to build a coffee table to put in the lobby of the church. You have no woodworking skills, you never pounded a nail, you never sawed a board, but you say, why not? Okay, I'll give it a try. But you say, I need supplies, I need tools, and I need to know the process by which that is done. So I get you the supplies, I get you the tools, and you go to it. Well, the first try doesn't work out so hot. The legs are different sizes, they're wobbly, the wood is sawed crooked, and the nails halfway in, misswing of the hammer, bend them over. So you try again, and the same thing happens. You try a third time, and exactly the same thing happens. We got 3 misfit coffee tables that are exactly the same. There's nothing wrong with the supplies. There's nothing wrong with the tools. So it must be the process that you're using to build a coffee table. Well, life is very much the same way. If things aren't going so well in your life, if you try to make things better, but it just doesn't happen, if the same reoccurring upsets and disturbances keep coming around like clockwork, it's not life that's wrong. It's not because you don't have the tools. You got spiritual attributes. So once again, it must be the process. You know, we live in an age that is so fast. Things are coming at us at such a rapid pace that we don't have time to really sit down and think about everything that's happening. We have inventions, we have discoveries, we have technology, we have new innovations all coming about, and we can't process it all. So we do the best we can, and we draw on the memory to do the rest. I got up this morning, I shaved, I had a cup of coffee, got in my car, checked the rearview mirror, released emergency brake, started it up, backed out of the driveway, came to church, turned on my blinker, made a couple turns, got here, and I didn't think about any of it. Other drivers on the road reminded me of that on occasion, but but it just happens. And the reason I'm telling you that is because so many things these days, the people in human research claim 95% of the things that we do are done out of habit. We just do them automatically. Now, that is a good trait to a certain extent, because when this memory developed back in the cave age, it reminded us that if we saw a saber-toothed tiger, you run. You don't stop and think about, what it might do or what's going to happen. Automatic reaction took us off. But as time went by, and especially this day and age, we rely more and more on the memory for autopiloting us because we just don't have time to process so many things. The problem with this is, when we move into a situation that upsets us or that is disturbing or that makes us angry or that hurts us in any way, we can't fall back in the memory to tell us the automatic response, because if it does, we will just be doing the same thing over and over and over. So process is the word for today, but just for a moment, let me put process on the shelf and go a different direction. Let's imagine that we have a crystal ball. And in this crystal ball, we can see the future. So we look deeply into the crystal ball and we see the future 1 year from now. If you're watching this on the internet 1 year from now, you might be in the same place, you might have moved, but you're watching the same screen and you're watching the same service, basically. If you're here at church, we look into the crystal ball and we see that the choir is in the loft, Steve Perry is directing the music, Robert's on the piano, Andres is playing the organ, I'm delivering the lesson, you're here, perhaps sitting in the same seat. But the question is, 1 year from now, as we look into this crystal ball, what will have changed about you? What will be different about you? And I'm not talking about the natural aging process, or I'm not talking about the things you do or where you live, but I'm talking about you as a person. What will be different about you 1 year from now? The answer to that is what is going to be different, to the best of our estimation, is whatever you determine to be different here and now. You determine 1 year from now that you want to be happier, that you want to be more at peace, that you want to be more in harmony with what is, that you want to be less worrisome, that you want to be less anxious, that you want to be less angry or fearful. Whatever it is, you determine, and then you pull into line a process to move you there. That's how you're going to be 1 year from now. If you don't make any determination whatsoever or put forth any effort, you'll probably be pretty much the same way that you are right now. And you might say, that's not bad. My life is good. I'm happy. If I can be this way 1 year from now, I'll take that. But the thing about it is, if your life stays the same 1 year from now, you're not going to be as happy. Because life gets stale. It's like buying a fresh loaf of bread at the bakery, going home, having a slice, is that good? So you take the loaf and you put it in the cupboard, you take it down 1 year later, have another slice, it's not so good because it's stale. That's what happens with life. Life is a movement. Life is a process. Life is evolving. And if we don't grow and evolve and have some sort of movement in our lives, it runs into a great deal of apathy and drudgery and all sorts of other things where it's just a monotonous chore. So we have to grow. We have to evolve. We have to experience new parts of the world, and we have to experience a greater part of ourselves. That's just natural part about life. So the obstacle there is the memory that dictates to us what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. The memory not only takes care of automatic responses for the trivial things in life, but it also dictates how we act or react to certain things. And the reason it does that is because the memory knows what we like. The memory knows what we want. The memory is full of expectations that we have. I expect people to treat me a certain way. I expect certain situations to have a certain outcome. I expect this and I expect that. And the memory lets me know that. It also lets me know how I react when my expectations aren't met. And I don't like that. When somebody treats me with disrespect, I don't expect that and I don't like it when it happens. Somebody criticized me. I don't like that. I got hurt. Two acquaintances were gossiping about me, and it came back to me. I don't like that. How could they? I'm incensed by the fact that they would do that. I pull up to a stoplight, the car in front of me looks like it's going straight. The light turns green. He puts on his blinker to turn left. I'm stuck. He can't turn, and he's afraid to go through a yellow light, so the light turns red again, and we're in the same spot. My memory reminds me, I don't like this. And I can feel the steam starting to build up in me. But I say, just breathe. Let's use some of those meditation techniques that I use. Just breathe. Peaceful mind, peaceful heart, peaceful spirit. But the memory doesn't respond to that because it doesn't know. This isn't the way we act to that. We smolder with indignation and annoyance. We start to murmur criticisms and slurs under our breath. Hands tighten around the steering wheel. We're ready to pounce on the horn if this guy doesn't go straight the next time. There's 3 signs that indicate it's not a left turn intersection. And the memory reminds me of that. And so I am getting in a fit. Now, the solution is, if I have to ask myself the question, what do I really want? Well, I really want to be at peace, to have peace of mind. But somehow in my head, I have come to the conclusion that I can't be at peace until everybody in the world is driving just the way I want them to drive. And we know that's never going to happen. So when things like that happen where I get set, we need what's called a pattern interruption. See, the memory runs on patterns from the past. Some go all the way back to when we were 3, 4, 5 years old. There's a certain pattern of action, reaction, thoughts, and feelings. And that's what the memory has. It has those patterns. So it automatically gives us that pattern or gives us a automatic piloting to react in a certain way when things happen. So we have to interrupt that. That calls for becoming mindful. We need to be aware that we're doing it. When I'm sitting at that stoplight and I'm getting frustrated and my hands are clenched around the wheel, I'm not really thinking through what I'm doing. The thoughts are coming through and I'm having the emotional experience and the physiological experience, but I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just reacting the way I always have. So when we interrupt that pattern of action and reaction, we can think deeply about it, and that's the process. We have to be engaged in a process because that's what life is. Existence is a process. It's a course of action. It's a series of movements. It's that progress towards a certain ending. We have to be involved in some process on the spiritual path so that we can be at peace with the process of life. Your life is a process, my life is a process, all life is a process, and unless we're engaged in that, we're not going to move forward, so we have to process. So the first question is, how are you going to be 1 year from now? And the answer to that is, well, how are you going to determine to be 1 year from now? What's your determination going to be? So you make that. Then the second question is, well, that sounds easy. All I have to do is determine that I'm going to be happy-go-lucky 1 year from now, and I'm going to be happy-go-lucky. But we all know it doesn't work that way. The process to fulfilling your determination is process. Now we're moving from process as a noun, this is the process, to process as a verb. And when I'm sitting at the stoplight and I'm getting upset, I need to process that. I can't fall back in automatic reactions. I need to process that, and I need to think deeply about it, and I need to make a determination what I'm going to do next time when that happens. And after a little bit of practice and a little bit of repetition, that can go away. When I'm talking, in that whole traffic thing, that's hypothetical, of course. But when I talk about that, at one time, that's the way I negotiated traffic. I was very offensive and I was very defensive. And that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to be at peace with it. I wanted to have a nice, quiet ride home. The pattern interruption, which I began to remind myself, this isn't who Duke is, this is an automatic reaction, changed everything. I don't look out and criticize other drivers, and I have no expectation for how them to act or react. Do you understand what I mean when I say process is the process? You know, we're wired for that. We're built for it. We have an intellectual capacity that is beyond estimation. We weren't just dropped into this life without the skills and the tools to do it, like somebody is thrown off the side of a ship into the ocean that can't swim. We came here with every single thing we need. And the front of your bulletin, I listed a few of the spiritual attributes. We all have these. We all have them to the same degree. At the bottom, we all have love. We have peace. We have harmony, confidence, happiness, compassion, kindness, power, strength, imagination, perseverance, faith, hope, joy, and much, much more. So when we find ourselves in a situation that is hurtful and that discounts us or depreciates us, that doesn't feel good in any way, we have to go to the tools that we've been given to manage our lives. And those are the spiritual attributes. When you're really upset or you're really angry or you're outraged, if you look at that bulletin, you'll see that one of those components isn't being used. In most cases, it's understanding. We just don't understand the full scope of what we're upset about. So the process is the process. And I want you to say that as you go through your life this week. My process is to process. To process those things that upset me, that disturb me, that annoy me, that take me back. Just process those and find, why am I like this? Where did it come from? I know my grandfather was like that. And my mom was too, to a little degree. So I was maybe nurtured into acting and reacting that way. Or perhaps I came from a big family and it was natural. You had to stand your ground. You had to be defensive. You had to be offensive. And you had to kind of bully your way through or you didn't get a potato on the plate. But I don't have to be that way now. The first objective in the spiritual path is to be at peace with the process of life. Because that's all there is. It's just life, and life is the way it is right now, at this time and in this age. Life is the way it is. And on the spiritual path, our objective is to be at peace with it. To be at peace with it means to process that which takes us out of that peaceful zone. So let's move into meditation. For a moment, make yourself comfortable. Let's relax a little bit. Think about your own life, the different things in it. What do you not want to carry forward for the next year? And what do you want to have come forward in the next year? It's those things. What do I want to set down and what do I want to pick up? We'll now move into meditation. Take a deep breath. Slowly exhale, allow yourself to become relaxed. And breathe again a little bit slower. Feel yourself moving inward, deeper and deeper, into a place that is very serene, into a place that is very comfortable. Your private sanctuary. A process is a course of action. That progresses us toward a desired outcome. Our greatest desire is for peace of mind. Our most natural state is that of harmony. And the greatest experience we can have is that of love. So perhaps today, each and every one of us makes a determination that 1 year from today, we will be more peaceful, more harmonious, and have a greater experience of love. That is the process that progresses us forward. And the objective is to process anything that interferes with that. You don't have to carry it any longer. It's like walking down the path of life with a thorn in the bottom of your foot. Perhaps it's time to stop and take it out. This life is yours. Your mind is genius. Your energy supply is unlimited. You represent one of the highest life forms on earth. You have everything you need to live the life you desire to live. A spiritual principle states that if you can recognize a desire you have within your constitution, everything you need to realize that desire. We now move into the silence. Slowly come back to this time and this place. As I speak these words, please make them your own. My determination is to experience more peace, more harmony, and more love. My process to accomplish that is to process anything that hampers it.